There are credit card perks you already know, points, airport lounges, welcome bonuses, but in this video we're going way deeper. These are the perks no one talks about, but can unlock missed opportunities, benefits, and save you hundreds of dollars in ways you wouldn't expect, and honestly make some of these cards even more valuable than they seem. We'll even cover a perk that has saved me 30, 40, 50% off everyday purchases that I never hear anyone talk about. But first, let's start with a perk that takes a few minutes a month but could save you hundreds without changing anything about how you spend. And the best part, it's not tied to just one issuer. Chase, Capital One, Amex, they all offer offers. Take Amex for example. On this card alone, I've earned over $700 back just by activating offers I would have been buying anyways. Google Drive storage, electronics from Best Buy and Dell, and even extra savings on top of the existing $200 annual hotel credit towards FHR stays. These offers refresh pretty often, anywhere from a few weeks or a month, so I make it a habit to scan through and activate anything that seems even remotely useful. Some I'm planning to buy anyways, and some I would front load if the value makes sense. Looking right now, I have offers like 25 off 50 at Blue Apron, more points through Nordstrom, and savings on Delta, perfect if I had a trip coming up. Chase does the same thing. I've saved almost $100 on this card alone, and right now have offers like Hyatt Place, Made in Cookware, and Solidcore. Some solid finds that aren't always top of mind. Capital One though takes a different approach. The portal is packed with offers, but instead of giving you statement credit, they're giving you bonus miles, which can be huge. Because I personally value Capital One miles close to 2 cents each. A 5 times back at Walmart, that's like 10% back in value. 12 times back at H&M, that's like 24% back in value. The downside, for these Capital One offers, you do have to click through their portal to get to your shopping site, which means you can't stack with other tracking links. But with most of the other ones, like with Amex and Chase offers, where it triggers once you have the purchase on your card, you can stack them. Coupon codes, sales, and even cashback portals like Rakuten, which I've been using since 2013. It's essentially another way to get value back either in cash or through Amex MR points just by going to your shopping site through their portal. If you're new to Rakuten, I'll drop a link down below where you'll earn anywhere from $30 to $40 after making your first purchase, and it helps support the channel at no extra cost. Thanks in advance. Honestly, this is a pretty underrated way to stack value, and I'd bet most people don't even check, especially when you can find, say, an Amex offer, stacking with a holiday sale, finding a coupon code online, and then also going through a Rakuten link. That's a lot of stacked value. Take a few minutes every month to scan through, and I guarantee you would find savings you didn't expect. And that ties perfectly into the next set of perks, because once you've done the spending and earned the rewards, you'll want to make sure those purchases are protected too. With 3 protections most people don't give nearly enough credit to. Starting with the first one I personally use all the time, return protection. This is the perk that kicks in when the retailer won't take the item back, and for deal seekers like me, it's a lifesaver, especially during final sale events like Lululemon's Made Too Much sales. I'll even go as far as using my American Express Platinum, earning just 1 times points compared to 2 times on my Venture X if I know there's a chance something won't fit right and no returns. The times I've gone through on my Platinum card is just a simple form to fill, and before I knew it, I got a notification saying they credited my account and didn't even ask to send the item back. And if they do ask for the item, they also cover the return shipping. On coverage, the Platinum and the Venture X will cover up to $300 per item or $1,000 per calendar year, compared to the Sapphire Reserve, giving you coverage up to $500 per item, which is a great option if you have it. And that's something worth noting, that these type of perks exist on multiple cards, but the limits, rules, and exceptions vary, so be sure to double check your card before relying on it. If you're someone who shops often, then return protection is a seriously underrated perk. I see it online all the time where people would skip sales because they're final sales. I guess it just benefits the one who know, which now you know. Then there's purchase protection. This one's for damage, theft, or loss on items purchased usually within the first 90 days, up to $10,000 per covered purchase, up to $50,000 per calendar year. One of my friends actually used this when they got new earbuds, but forgot them in the laundry, washed, dried, and completely dead, and had their card cover it. Some cards even extend the window, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, giving giving up to the first 120 days, so slightly longer. And third, extended warranty. This one's good for peace of mind really, as it typically covers an extra year of warranty coverage on eligible purchases up to $10,000 per item or $50,000 per calendar year, as long as the original warranty was under 5 years on the Platinum card or under 3 years like on the Venture X card. That said, while these protections are incredibly useful, always check the fine print. Each issuer has different exclusions. Jewelry and watches, for example, are common ones. And of course, coverage won't apply if you didn't buy the item with the card. But if it does apply, then these perks can really tip the scale when you're choosing which card to use. Not only is it about the multipliers and credits, but sometimes it's about these protections too. Next up, a perk that can save your phone and your wallet even on no annual fee cards. Cell phone protection is one of these perks that flies under the radar, but if you pay your monthly bill with the right credit card, you could be covered for things like theft and damage, though small cosmetic damages don't count. As you would expect, this perk shows up on premium cards like the Amex Platinum or Venture X, covering up to $800 per claim with a $50 deductible up to 2 times every 12-month period. But you don't need a premium card to get this. No annual fee cards like the Wells Fargo Active Cash and Autograph cards, both already great cards on their own, will cover up to $600 per claim with a lower $25 deductible. And then there's the Freedom Flex, which pretty much matches the premium cards with up to $800 per claim, but up to $1,000 per 12-month period with the same $50 deductible, again with no annual fees. To qualify, all you need to do is pay for the monthly bill with your card. You don't need to have purchased the phone with the card. Even if you'll never use this, having that safety net is huge, especially considering how expensive phones are nowadays. Alright, fourth underrated perk, and one that a lot of people misunderstand, rental car insurance. This perk covers damage or theft to the rental car, which you would otherwise have to pay for, typically between $20 to $30 per day on top of your original cost. But if you use the right card, you can decline their collision damage waiver or CDW and get covered by your card for free. Now, this coverage usually comes in 2 forms: primary and secondary. Primary coverage means that insurance kicks in first whenever something happens. Secondary coverage only kicks in after checking your other insurances and then only covering the difference. But here's the key: if you don't have other insurance, like maybe you live in a walkable city and don't have a car, that secondary coverage becomes the primary. There's no other insurance, so your card becomes the first and only payer. But speaking of rental cars, another related and underrated perk are the statuses you get at these rental car companies, and in some cases, the hidden ones. You probably already know that the Capital One Venture X comes with Hertz President Circle status, letting you skip the line, earn more points, and get the widest selection, like the ultimate choice area where you can just walk up and choose your car. What you may not know is that you can status match over to other companies, like National or Enterprise, just by uploading a screenshot for your proof of status. What's more is that your card may have rental car status and not even know it. If you have a Visa Infinite card like the Sapphire Reserve, that actually gives you access to National Emerald Executive and Avis Preferred Plus, even if not explicitly mentioned on the card page. So if you're renting cars even just a couple times a year, you could save both money and time, and often driving a better car than you initially booked. And speaking of better travel experiences, let's talk about the perks that kick in when travel doesn't go as planned, because this next set of protections can turn stress into relief. I always hear people worry about their luggage when they have to check in. Fair point. But for some trips, you just have to, and although you can't control your luck, you do have ways to ease your stress if it ever happens. Because with baggage delay insurance, if your bag is delayed for more than 6 hours, you can get reimbursed for your essentials like toiletries or some clothes up to $100 per day up to 5 days. And even mid-tier cards like the Sapphire Preferred and Aeroplan cards have it as well. If things get worse and your luggage actually gets lost, there's lost luggage reimbursement that kicks in, covering both the luggage itself and the belongings inside. The limits here are much higher, like on the Sapphire Preferred, covering up to $3,000 per person, including immediate family members, with lower limits for some exceptions, but still fair coverage. The best part, depending on the card, you may qualify for some of these protections even if you only charge part of the fare, like when booking flights with points and paying for the taxes and fees. It's one reason why I choose my Sapphire Preferred so much when doing so, compared to my Amex Platinum card, which requires the entire fare to be put on the card. So that's luggage, but you want coverage for your trip too. Trip delay insurance will cover your reasonable hotels, meals, and essentials if your flight is delayed for more than a certain threshold. 12 hours or more on lower-end cards like the Marriott Bonvoy Bold, up to $500 per ticket, or higher-end ones like the Venture X and Sapphire Reserve with thresholds of 6 hours or more. If your trip gets canceled before it or interrupted during due to illness, severe weather, or another covered reason, trip cancellation and interruption insurance can reimburse you for those non-refundable costs, typically with higher limits like $5,000 or $10,000 per covered person, up to a certain maximum. As always, coverage and the rules behind them vary from card to card, so check them beforehand. Alright, let's switch gears from travel to everyday savings. This perk has saved me hundreds over the years, and I'm sure that the majority of people who can use this don't even know about it. I'm talking about targeted Amazon offers. And no, I'm not talking about using points to cover your entire purchase. I mean just using a few points, like 100 or so, to get 30, 40, 50% off your Amazon purchase. These are the type of discounts I've personally received over the years, and just a couple weeks ago got one for 30% off. The catch? Well, there really isn't one, other than it's not that easy to keep track of when and if you're targeted. Either you're following a blog or checking manually through links like amazon.com/chase offer or /Amex offer. I'm not sure about the links for other issuers, but I've seen discounts across Citi, Capital One, and even US Bank. Bottom line, if you're targeted, this is one of the easiest ways to save. Amazon already has everything from essentials to impulse buys. So it's either helping you save on things you would have been buying anyways, or letting you stock up on basics like toilet paper or cleaning supplies at a steep discount. And if any of these tips are helpful, a free like and subscribe is always appreciated and helps spread the word to more people. Thanks a lot. Next, let's talk about saving money when booking travel, especially through travel portals. Now, I know travel portals get a bad rep. You're booking through a third party, so things get messier if something goes wrong, or sometimes the price is higher than booking direct. Both valid points, and honestly, it depends on your situation. But there are definitely times when the perks booking through the portal far outweigh the downsides. For example, the Capital One travel portal actually helps you book smarter by giving you price predictions and price drop protection up to 10 days after and $50 per ticket, something I actually got credit back for without doing any extra work and was definitely not expecting it. On the other hand, if you're booking flights in premium economy or higher, the Amex portal has the International Airlines program covering some of the world's best airlines. I recently saved over $800 per ticket compared to buying direct, flying 14 hours in Singapore Airlines business class. And when it comes to hotels, it seems like every major issuer now has special collections that unlocks extra perks. Things like free breakfast, late checkout, room upgrades, and experience credits. Capital One has their Lifestyle and Premier collection, which feels very similar to Chase's The Edit collection, and of course the American Express's Fine Hotels and Resorts collection, where I've also seen bonuses like getting an extra free night or hundreds of dollars in extra credits depending on the hotel and dates. And a quick bonus tip, you don't need these premium or high-end cards to get into these type of perks. Even Visa signature cards like the Wells Fargo Active Cash or Autograph cards get you access to the Visa Signature Luxury Hotel collection, which comes with upgrades, breakfast, and property credit. So while portals aren't always the answer, in the right situation, they can unlock more value than most people expect, especially when you know where to look. Now for underrated perk number 8, instead of giving you just one, I'm gonna rapid fire 4. First, consider adding authorized users, not just for the convenience, like if you want to share an account with your partner, but because in some cases, you can actually double up the premium perks. One of the best examples is the Capital One Venture X card, which allows you to add up to 4 authorized users at no extra charge. Each of those users gets their own Priority Pass membership, Capital One Lounge access, and even Hertz President's Circle status. So let's say both you and your partner each have their card, allowing 2 guests each. That's like getting a total of 6 people into the lounge with just one original card. With the Amex Platinum card, it's a little bit different, where authorized users cost $195 each, but they get even more lounge access like Centurion lounges, Priority Pass, Plaza Premium, and Delta Sky Club with exceptions, and more, as well as their own TSA PreCheck or Global Entry credit. That's great value if you or your player 2 fly solo often, maybe for work or something. On that note, second, if you happen to hold multiple Priority Pass memberships, like with the Amex Platinum and the Venture X, you may be able to use both passes at once to get even more people into the lounge. It doesn't work everywhere, but for about 80% of the lounges I've visited around the world, it has worked. Third, don't overlook referral bonuses. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel with the links down below. It means a lot, but it's not just about creators. If you got a player 2 and you're planning your strategy together, or you're trying to help a friend with their next card, you can be rewarded for doing so. Fourth, leverage concierge services, especially with cards like the Amex Platinum. Whether it's getting a tailored list of recommendations, help booking a restaurant in a foreign language, or just organizing a trip, they can handle a lot more than people think. Now, you might have noticed a few cards came up a lot today: the Venture X, the Amex Platinum, and the Sapphire Reserve. And for good reason, they're packed with value and we've only just scratched the surface. So if you want to know which of those cards are best for you, check out this video here where I break it all down, and I'll see you over there.